couple of people have asked me, and I think that this is actually quite an interesting question. What do I do when I hit a wall on VR Rising? Then again, this is a video for beginners. This is a video for someone that's struggling. Veterans are already familiar with all of this kind of stuff. But if I manage to help a new player, even though the game entered like B1 like 3 weeks ago, I'm still hoping that I can help someone. This is something that happened to me in my first playthrough of the game, and that is when you cannot progress with the means or the weapons or the stuff that you can craft that you have on the base game. Well, not on the base game, but by not getting recipes. Let's talk about that, because the game leads you to believe that just by completing the main quest line, and it's actually not. The game leads you to believe that just by killing the B-Bloods is going to be enough, but it's not. What you're really going to need to further progress into the game are going to be these little things right here. The research desk. There's 3 tiers of these guys right here. So if you open your construction tab, then you go to production, then we go to research. This is one of the most important aspects of the entirety of the game. You have the research desk. You're going to get this one on the first act of the game. The recipes that you need, you're going to get them on the second act of the game. Then we have the study. The study is going to appear on the second act of the game. And if I am not mistaken, the third one, the third act of the game, is going to yield you the Athenaeum. Now, you're going to need these things right here for you to be able to progress into the game. What the walls that you're going to hit yourself against? Well, the item level of the enemies. But not only that, maybe you just reach the haunted iron mine and you realize that you have copper weapons. Your copper weapons are not enough for you to be able to mine that iron. And for you to be able to mine that iron, you need something else. And that iron is very much needed to craft the next tier and gear for the weapons and the armors that you need to furthermore explore the second act of the game, which is the Dunley farmlands. Well, that is like, to some extent, the first wall that you're going to find yourself against once you are on the Fairbairn Woods. So you are going to need to build the research desk, because in the research desk, simple as that, you can learn new technology. That new technology is the thing that is going to allow you to be able to do a little bit more stuff. So for example, the merciless copper mace. You need the merciless copper mace to be able to farm the material that you have right here, because the copper maces are just not going to be enough, and the copper maces are the base things that you have on the Fairbairn Woods. Furthermore than that, weapons, armor, gear. Now, how do I get all of these recipes? Well, that's actually like 50% of the game to some extent as well. So every time that you enter a new region, you are going to have new recipes. If you go to your library, you are going to find all of these recipes that I have right here. These are stuff that I haven't used because I have already maxed out everything. But these little books, you take them towards your study, and this is where you're going to be able to unlock them. Now this is randomized. However, there's a little bit of an extra something. You can use money to purchase them directly from merchants. On Fairbairn Woods, it's a little bit easier because right here you have merchants and you don't actually need anything to engage with them. They are going to sell you quite a whole bunch of stuff, but more important than anything else, they have recipes that you can then use to craft like the merciless weapons that you can. One little side note, you can use a merciless copper sword to be able to farm the stuff that you need from here. It doesn't necessarily need to be a mace. A mace is going to be better, but it's not mandatory. So you have one merchant right here, and then you also have a merchant right here. The same case scenario is going to apply for the Dunley farmlands. Although on the Dunley farmlands, you are going to have the Dunley farmers market. However, to enter in here, you're going to need one skill, which is the human form, because in there it is plagued by soldiers and they are going to recognize you and they are going to immediately turn hostile against you. Then again, I do want to say that this is not something mandatory that you need to do. You don't necessarily have to purchase the recipes from the merchants. You can also get them by killing the Vivlots that you have all throughout the whole areas of the game. These guys have a chance to drop those recipes that you have right there. Furthermore than that, you can, for example, build a devourer right here, and then you can bring recipes to the devourer, and they are going to give you a little bit of an papers or scrolls, and depending, so for example on the Athenaeum, to discover a random technology I need 100 schematic. The schematics is stuff that you get like in this fourth act of the game, because this is the tier for well, yeah, the highest tier of things that you can craft. But for example, you can use paper, which is paper, you're going to get it all the way from here. If you have a recipe that you have already learned and that you do not need anymore, to have anymore, then you can take, like, for example, the recipes right here. This is a merciless iron spear. Let's see if I can find something a little bit well, anything should suffice for the example, but I can take this little book towards my devourer right here. All I have to do is just insert it. That is for the merciless copper sword, actually. That is going to give me paper. Now I can use this newfound paper. Of course, this is not going to be enough, but if I already have that recipe, then I can definitely use the devourer to have that little extra paper. So that is how you're going to progress into the game. You do have to do a little bit of exploration, and the game progression is going to stop around those places where you're going to need to find those recipes for you to be able to progress into the game. If you like the content, like and the verse, appreciate it. And also you today, you're a gorgeous and beautiful person. You're a gorgeous and beautiful person. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.